All right, what is up, everybody? Hope y'all doing well. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sports Stories with Big and with Mido here on Raw Football Talk. Appreciate y'all tuning in as always, showing love on different platforms. We get a lot of love on Instagram, so we appreciate y'all on that, on Twitter, and listening to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. And I am your host, Big, and today I'm here with my boy Mido, who's joining us from out and about, out on the far, making time for us. So we appreciate you, bro. So how you feeling, my guy?
I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling good, I may be on vacation, but when Big calls me to work, I come to work. So it's all good.
Appreciate you, bro. And to the bottom of your screen, and if you're not watching this, you're just listening. I got my boy Kirubel Tadesse. He is the founder of Habesha Athletes, where he aims to inspire, motivate, and execute, and stay consistent with discipline. So, how you doing, my guy?
Yes, sir. Couldn't have said it better. I'm doing well, man. I'm better than what I can deserve, bro. Just count my blessings every day and just trying to stay humble and keep pushing and keep motivating and executing, like you said, bro.
Yes, sir. We love to see it, bro. Hashtag stay humble. We might need to get that trending. You know what I mean?
I'll be behind you on that one for sure. I like that.
Amen, bro. And I guess it's like a homecoming moment between you and Mido, because I know you both of you have trained in the past, and I've seen like a couple of your clips. So it's homecoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But I
Yeah,
like it.
he killed me, man. He killed me.
We
Some
gotta
workouts.
run it back, man. We gotta run it back soon.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, no
So I
doubt.
think we did one other little workout after we did the video clip back in at Northwestern High School field. So we got a little work done and it was good. Yeah, I'm really hoping we can again keep continuing that. If you whenever you got the time, the bandwidth, we can always run it back. You know where to hit me up, bro.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. And I mean, we talking about working out. So right off the bat, I got to ask you this question, bro. Are you a runner? Like, are you a runner that no one knows about because you share the same last name as long distance runner Zersanite Tadesse? So
Nah, man. Like I didn't do any running. Like I'll tell you this. Like when I was in school, like high school, like I never played any sports. I never really tried to compete in any of those competitive sports. For schools. Just like all of it was done recreationally. I guess the only two sports I was really into, well, mainly one, I was really into football, but obviously I didn't have the genetics wasn't really in my favor. I was a little bit of a late bloomer coming into high school. Like up until junior year, I was still standing 5'2", like 100 pounds. So even though like I didn't have the fitness, you know, grind as many people would if you really trying to get into whichever team. So I was just kind of lollygagging as I was going through school, and not until I hit my end of high school. I mean, I started to see a little bit of growth and development in my body. So like literally puberty kind of hit me like literally as I got into probably like my end of junior, beginning of senior year. So I started working out a little bit, got into college, and that's when I really took my fitness to another level. And then, but at that time, of course, especially when I went to, I went to University of Maryland, Baltimore County, which isn't a huge or not, they don't have a football team at all. But I wasn't even really trying to really pursuing that. Just wanted to keep myself active. Then I came across flag football, intramural flag football league, and that's what I really kind of gave me that reason to how can I even better my athleticism and all my attributes. And that's when I really got into just watching all the professional athletes, seeing how they work out, how they push themselves. That's what really pushed me into just wanting to see if I can emulate that. Just see if I can at least do a little bit of that, like maybe if I can do 20-30% of what they can do, and just see if I can show that and then put it to the test. And that's kind of how everything just started out with my journey.
that's awesome, bro. I think more so nowadays, I feel like we're engaging with athletes a little bit more in terms of trying to understand their mindset and the day to day and how much they train and all the hard work and sacrifice that they have to put. Because
Hmm.
essentially, that kind of mindset and that habit can translate to anything else in life. if you just, have the habit of, waking up in the morning and, getting to it and getting that grind and being consistent with it, obviously the results will happen. So kudos to you on that. And I guess you mentioned football as you were kind of diving in a little bit to your upbringing. Which football is it? Is it the football that we, world football, or is it the American
football? I should have
football?
already cleared that up to the I was actually talking about American football. Okay. That was probably like the sport that I really, fell into when I was growing up. So like back in elementary school, what was it? I think, it all started when my parents, and I was born and raised in the US. So I was born in Maryland and, first generation. So, and my parents, like my dad never really pushed sports like that much. And, I kind of just fell into, I fell into football because one of my friends, my neighbors, right, they were the ones who kind of showed me and my brother the ropes of just the sport. I think they kind of was just, selecting like what their favorite team was. And they had this video game that I had my parents buy me. This was back in like maybe 98. And I remember it was on the N64. So I remember the first time you start the game up, how the kind of teams are already displayed for you. So I remember red was my favorite color. I remember I went to the red team. I remember that's how so what I'm about to tell you is how I even got to show. So my favorite team was the San Francisco 49ers. And I remember that's when I was following the 49ers a lot. And then when I kept selecting them as I wanted to play. Like football was the first video game I've ever played. And then after I saw that, started watching a little bit of real life, football, and just seeing how they, how they work. It's like their build. Like I really wanted to see if I can get to that level. And I feel like that's when I really started watching American football. And that's kind of how everything went. And then I got into, I played a little bit of soccer too, again, recreational level, but it didn't hit the same as much with American football, but that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. And you mentioned football. Like we obviously we call it football because it's world football. But in terms of American football, for me, I would say that kind of bug hit me around. I would say like around high school, maybe like 9th grade year or 10th grade year. I was like a Colts fan for about a couple of years because Peyton Manning was there.
Oh yeah.
But then once Peyton Manning left, I'm like, do I really want to keep up with the Colts anymore? So sometimes it's like you really just have to be honest with yourself. So that's just like my little American football story. And Mido, I know you keep up with football, I would say more than me. So do you have any American football stories?
Yeah, bro. When I first like moved to America when I was 10 years old, we went to Houston, Texas, and you already know Texas is crazy about their football.
Oh yeah,
so, like,
definitely.
Yeah, so like obviously soccer was like the only sport I watched. But when I go to school, everyone's talking about football. This is like 6th grade. Everybody, the teachers, the classmates. I'm like, what's this, man? So I'm like, you know what? Let me open the TV and let me just watch it. And I the first Super Bowl that happened in the States. When I was in the States was the Colts and Saints Super Bowl in 2010, 09, 010. And I was like, wow, this is exciting. So I told myself the next season, I'm going to watch from week 1 to week 16, everything. And then I started getting into it. And then I started watching like the Steelers back then. I liked Troy Polamalu. I liked it because it's long hair.
The hair. I don't know why. Man. Everybody falls for the hair.
Yeah, him, Ronaldinho, those guys with long hair. And long
hair. True.
Yeah. And I started watching him, and I was like, "Yo, like this guy's cool." So I started watching the Steelers, and they make it to the Super Bowl, and then they lose. And then I was like, "Okay, yeah, this sport is exciting." So I'm gonna keep watching it. I wasn't a Steelers fan at all. I think for me in American sports, I don't have like a team like United where I'm gonna support them always. I think I support the players more.
Right, that you follow, right?
Yeah, I won't say I'll root for like the DC teams because I'm in DC. But like in terms of supporting, I think I'm more of a players kind of supporter. You feel me?
Right.
Football and basketball. So yeah, I mean, can't wait till the next season starts. It's gonna be interesting as well.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know if you guys were following like the new rules that they're about to add. So now they're about to add an extra regular season game. So now it's going to be a total of 17 games,
I
and
heard.
they've already emulated the rule that from last year, adding an extra playoff spot for teams in the playoffs. And then I think they're taking away one preseason game. So now there's only going to be 3 preseason games, and I guess they're going to use that to add an extra. So we're going to see
And the
this
shirt
is going to be a
numbers, right?
different year. Hmm?
And the shirt numbers, right? They were thinking about changing, like making rules for shirt numbers.
Oh, for
Or
sure.
that's
Yeah, 'cause I think before they usually wouldn't allow the what the skilled position players or just any position other than I think quarterbacks, punters, and kickers were the only ones that can wear single digit numbers. But now they're gonna allow single digit number jerseys for anyone. That's what I heard. I don't know if did they make that? I don't know if they made that as an official change. But I mean, I remember players were actually excited because a lot of them usually they would wear the single digits numbers when they were like when they were playing in high school, and then that really means a lot. So I remember when they go to the NFL, how they're not able to wear that number. I know that sometimes it kind of not really deters them, but I know it'll be a little boost for them in confidence or just swag that they'll be able to get that jersey
have
number
a
back.
number. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and I mean, Mido, you mentioned the Super Bowl with the Colts and Saints, and you just brought back so many raw, fresh, well, not so fresh anymore, but just so many bad memories. I just remember sitting down watching that game and thinking, like I said, I was a Peyton Manning fan. I wasn't a Colts fan. I'm gonna
Bruh.
be honest with myself. I was a Peyton Manning fan, and then he went up against Drew Brees and lost. And so you just put the raw football talk, my guy. It's crazy.
Hey man.
Yo, I was actually
Also,
about to piggyback on that too, where at least you were able to watch Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl when they went up against the Bears. I don't know. Were you watching football back then? I think that was '06.
that was in
Yeah,
Denver.
06 is the year I came to the States, so I didn't watch that.
Okay. Because I was
I
gonna
missed
say
out.
But
that would
then
have been the
Peyton
time.
Manning, didn't he win with Denver? Like
Yeah,
more
he
recent?
actually did. He did with Denver. Was that in 2015 against the Panthers when Cam Newton? I think he was MVP that year. He killed it. That was when they had their number one offense, and it was funny enough how ironic how Peyton Manning is usually known for the offense, but they had that Broncos team. The defense carried that squad to the Super Bowl, so they had the number one defense versus the Panthers' number one offense. And Peyton Manning back then, because he was about to retire soon, he was getting past his prime, so he was just a game managing quarterback. So he did enough to win.
He had some weapons too. Like he had Eman Sanders. Was Demaryius Thomas was there too, right?
Yeah.
And it was Wes Welker on that squad, and they had the tight end.
They had Von Miller on defense.
Yeah, the defense. Yeah, Von Miller was that guy. He was
MVP. He was
MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember,
that's how he knew that defense was crazy.
I remember.
I was about to just really quickly piggyback because me being a 49ers fan, so we did win a Super Bowl during my lifetime, but I was only 3 years old. That was back in '95. I wasn't watching football, but still to this day, haven't gotten a chance to witness my squad win it all. 2 Super Bowls that we appeared, and we both lost, in close margins, which was like, oh my God, probably one of the most.
Y'all almost had it last year. Y'all almost had it.
It was a couple of years ago. Yeah, 2019. I was like, or 2020 was February 2020, and I was like, bruh, we were in the lead the whole game, and we lose it at the end. A little some controversial calls, which we're not gonna get into that. But
no, I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but then the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl one year against was it the Patriots when Kaepernick was the quarterback?
Kaepernick was the starting quarterback. We played against the Ravens. That was in 2013. Yeah, and it was crazy enough because I was going to Baltimore, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So I was in Baltimore, and I was repping hard. People knew I was a fan. So I was like, "We're about to beat y'all, dog." And then, of course, we lose. I had to go into campus, head down. I gotta have my hoodie. Had to hide my identity. People were talking. People were talking their talk. I was like,
yeah, I was just gonna ask if you're like the most hated man on campus because you're wearing you're repping the Broncos or the 49ers.
Yeah, bro. It was definitely one of those years. I was like, yeah, I gotta let time do the healing because this is too much emotions right now. Because I was heavily invested that year. I thought we had it. We were the favorite. No, were we the favorites? I wasn't sure who was considered, but
is that the one Joe Flacco won? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Joe Flacco
was
was the quarterback. Yep, and then they had Anquan Bolden. They had Torrey Smith that came from University of Maryland. They had Jacoby Jones, and of course Ray Lewis. That was when he made the announcement that he was going to retire that year. I felt like that was a legit fairy tale that just kind of motivated his whole squad. Oh no, we were the favorites because I remember that year we were the number 2 seed in the playoffs, and they were the number 4 seed. We had a first round bye. They had to play since starting from the wild card all the way up, and they literally marched their way to the Super Bowl. And me thinking that we kind of had it in the bag, but nah, Ray Lewis, him and his motivation. He's probably one of my all-time like favorite just leaders, just motivational speakers in life. When I hear that man talk and when I hear that man just make his speeches, he always just
especially after what he went through. What he went through with all that like I think it was like the wrong trial, right? He wasn't even like guilty at all for what he did. So like he's good. He's a good man. I remember like even though when we lost, I was kind of happy just his whole tenure, how he impacted the league. He's probably considered one of the best middle linebackers ever. And just to kind of stamp his career, leaving the NFL with a Super Bowl win, it's amazing. But at the same time, I was kind of blown to us losing. But it's all good though.
Yeah. So segueing out of American football and going back into training, there's a saying that I've heard recently, and I wanted to get you guys' input on it. And we know that training is about staying consistent on a daily basis. Like you really have to be meticulous. And so have you heard the saying that it takes 50,000 hours to master something?
Yeah, I heard, or is it like 10,000 hours?
I wasn't sure. 10,000 hours, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that saying to master something.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, because I feel like, if people actually, like, if you really know how much is 10,000 or 50,000 hours, like, if you actually do the math and know how long that is, I feel like, my apologies. I feel like I can say it's definitely, I would say it's enough time. I don't know if enough is the right vocabulary, but just to really see yourself become either to improve at whatever craft that you're trying to master, especially if you track yourself on from where you started. And then after the 10,000 hours, 50,000 hours from where you are, you should see growth. If you're not lollygagging and if you're actually putting in the work, I feel like I would say for the most part, I think that could be accurate. Not accurate. Again, I don't know if accurate's the right word, but just you can definitely see some improvement for sure. For sure.
Yeah. No, I was just about to say, I heard, like, I was watching like a training video of like I think it was probably Ronaldo, but like they're basically saying, oh yeah, 10,000 hours is what you need. I think that was the first time I ever heard of it, But yeah, just like Kirby said, like when you break down the hours, it's like it takes like sometimes like 10, 15 years, Or if my math is wrong, I'm so sorry. Math is not my strong suit.
Yeah, I didn't want to guess, so I was like, all right, someone can find that out for me.
Depending how much you train, because I don't know. I know people don't train for 20 hours a day, 365 days a year, so it's impossible.
Right. Like people don't know, like when you say that, depending on how soon you want to reach that 10,000 hour, 50,000 hour mark, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. That's what a lot of people they struggle with, because that you're going to have to make decisions on if you want to have this as your priority, knowing how to prioritize making those sacrifices to wanting to reach that goal. That's probably one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of people, not only trying to be consistent, but then knowing that there's going to be small little things that people are going to try to say, oh, yo, we're trying to go out. We're trying to come, like, are you going to, lose that groove? Are you going to take that chance to lose that momentum and say, oh yeah, I'll come out with you? Or are you going to have to sometimes take on and be like, I'm going to have to slide. Like you don't have to say what you're trying to accomplish, but inside of you that you have something that you're trying to reach. So again, yeah, having to make those sacrifices and yeah, making those decisions, knowing how to prioritize and manage your time is another huge factor into that.
Yeah, you mentioned the last part was great in terms of prioritizing, because I think as young adults, we've been in those moments where we're at a certain place, but we need to be somewhere else. And you really just have to push yourself and really try to hone in on what is it that you do, what is it that wakes you up in the morning, and whatever you have in mind. And that's kind of tough for us sometimes, because sometimes maybe peer pressure can get in the way, or you might enjoy that moment too much. But at the end of the day, it's like that long-term mindset, that marathon mindset, is essentially what helps you overcome those little moments. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And I guess kind of piggybacking off that, when did you ever try to implement that first in you and then start your the Habesha Athletes Instagram page, or how did that go about?
So literally, it's funny because I mean, I've always had it in the back of my mind. Like I always wanted to start this Habesha Athletes page. Didn't know how it was going to come about, but I knew something. Like I always wanted to just find my fellow Habeshas who are into sports, who like to work out, and just either just want to put them on the map, just show, or even just give out tutorials on workouts to those who kind of need some assistance. But I remember like it was literally until when we hit COVID. So we were quarantining. I guess I just had ample of time to I was sitting, I was like, yo, I have all this time to myself. Let me just go ahead and let me just do it. Let me make this page. Let me start it up. And like I put like one of my first clips when I think my brother was recording me in the backyard. And then I got like a little bit, a couple of comments, like literally one. I remember seeing my first, compliment or my first comment of, positive. And that really just kind of gave me that. It was enough that really it kept me going. And I just wanted to continue that, that momentum and just see where it can go. But honestly, I wasn't really trying to do too much. Like I really just wanted to, first have my immediate circle, be impacted. And then if they can, shoot out and hit their immediate circle, with Habeshas, and just see how many, if I can find like athletes who are Habeshas that are out there. And if I can find them, I would love to just get to know them, or just post their highlight reel, or even for me, just showing what I can do and see if I can have any sort of impact on anyone who's younger than me, that's thinking that they want to get into any kind of sport, that need that push, that motivation, get to inspire them. So that's the whole thing. I came up with those 3 terms. I don't know what, I'm sure it wasn't me that I made up, but just some kind of like order where you want to see someone to be inspired by, that will motivate you to go ahead and execute on what you want. And then after that, the discipline, the consistency, and you guys know what the rest is. So that's how it was.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And then you mentioned how you got that little bit of, positive, but I don't know if validation is the right word, but sometimes you just need like a little bit of that push, that support from someone, and then you see it within yourself, and then you act on it. And at the end of the day, I feel like what I can commend you is recognizing that it takes a small moment, like a comment or that, like I said, a little bit of validation, and then after that, you really dive in and execute on that.
Right.
And so that's awesome, my guy, and keep doing it. Love seeing your work. Love seeing the posts that you're doing. And I think there was one where you literally like jumped off from a pool, like from the ground up all the way to the I guess the base level, and I was like, sheesh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to be creative. So I'd also be finding things that motivate or push me, that inspire me. So I'm like, and I always be thinking to myself, do I know any other Habesha that can do this? Let me be the first to see if I can find. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I don't really like to kind of put that in, and I don't want to sound self-centered or anything like that. But just, I know there's athletes out there too, and I know there's Habesha athletes that are out there. And I remember I found this one individual she actually lives in Sweden. She's an Eritrean Swedish individual. So yeah, so I don't know if she was born in Eritrea and then she moved to Sweden, but I know that's where I found her. And she's actually into she's heavy into track. Like I don't know if she told me that she was actually trying to train herself to be in the Olympics, where I know she does multiple multiple avenues in track, and something like that where I see Habesha that's motivating herself to be at that level. I remember, I don't know how I came across her. I don't know if maybe I saw her through someone else's feed. I gave her a follow. You know, I gave her a shout out saying how good of a job, how much, you know, you're inspiring me, like me just seeing a fellow Eritrean that's being at that level and pushing herself, where we connected. And I told her if I can use any of your clips, I'd love to, you know, post you and show you out and have everybody look at you, how amazing you are. That's literally one of the core reasons of why I made Habesha Athletes, to find those kinds of individuals, to see how there are so many. I know there's so many out there. They don't even need to be that kind of at that level, but even anyone that's into fitness, into working out. If I see you pushing and I see you have that kind of grind, that consistency, I always love to be that person to shout you out. And I love to post. Like, I'm not in it for any monetary reasons. I'm not in it for the money. I'm not charging no one when I do this. Like, I literally just doing this for the good of my heart and just for the community as well. So that's pretty much what I would have to say. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. You're essentially, what you're doing is you're trailblazing. Yeah. And one of my relatives, he's a Portland, he's a Blazers fan, so I'm pretty sure he would love that phrase. But you're shining a light and you're trailblazing, and I feel like nowadays we can inspire others with whatever it is that we do. You know, it doesn't have to be the same thing, but like you mentioned, the consistency, reaching out to people from abroad, because you mentioned that she's based in Sweden. And I guess, you know, that's the power of the internet. You know, we don't have to all be in the same place. Like, this is an embodiment of that. We're not in the same place, but we still still made it happen. Shout out Mido, like I mentioned, in vacation, but still making time.
Bad, so
appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. But I don't know if there's anything. I know. So you said you guys both, y'all, how long have you guys known each other? How'd you guys meet?
You go ahead, Big. You tell the story.
Well, I met Mido. Actually, I met Mido without really meeting Mido, if this that makes sense. Back in, I want to say, was it 2018? 2017. There we go. So at the time, I was going to Nova in the Manassas campus. That was like my main campus. And I think Mido, were you in high school at the time, or?
Nah, man. I'm not that young, bro. I was in I was in the Annandale campus.
Nah, y'all are young. Y'all are young. It's like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the Annandale campus, and I think we played a game against Nova and the Annandale, Manassas. And yeah, Vic was there. I honestly, I didn't remember the people that were there. You know, I remember maybe one or two people, but like after that, I don't remember like people who were even on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm walking through campus, and I have my headphones on, and then all of a sudden I hear somebody talking to me. I'm like, wait, 1 second. And then it's Vic, and then he's telling me, oh yeah, we played this, we played that, and then you can go ahead from there, Vic.
Yeah, so just to kind of, because I do remember, you were representing the Annandale campus. Like I said, my base campus was Manassas, so we just did like a little get together. Because my boy CJ and he's the intramural coordinator, and so we just try to get pickup games going between different campuses. And so that night, I remember it was a cold night, bro. I don't know if you remember, bro, but we just did like a game of pickup ball, and it was so cold. But I just remember us connecting because, you know, we're Habesha. And I remember we made a joke because, you know, we're talking about training. I was like, man, Habeshas, man, that's one thing I can recognize a Habesha, because we all have chicken legs. We all have skinny calves.
Yeah, man. One of those genetics.
Right. But from that moment, we played. I think my other friend was there too. And even Quab, who is part of this podcast, he was there as well. And so we played on the same team. And then, like Mido said, I would say like maybe about a year and a half later, I ran into him as I was walking on campus at George Mason. And I just recognized him. I had to stop him for a sec because, you know, at the time, bro, like honestly, I didn't have many people that I knew because I was new to George Mason. So I was just trying to make friends. And so, you know, as I guess fate has it, we ended up eventually taking a course together, and I wasn't even supposed to be in that class. It was just a class that I needed to get out the way in order for me to finish up my penultimate semester. But I just remember sitting in the back, and I didn't know anybody. And then Mido was all the way in the front, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna sit in the back no more. Like I already know Mido anyway, so we sat in the front. We got to chopping it up for a little bit, and that class was tough. I'm not gonna lie, but the best thing that came out of it was just me getting to know Mido as well, because I got him hip to the podcast, and then from there we had we did like a little jersey giveaway, and we did like a little raffle, and then Mido ended up winning that jersey. And so you mentioned Sweden earlier. I know Mido has that Sweden jersey. I had a Sweden jersey, and I wanted to use that as part of the giveaway, and Mido won the giveaway. We flicked it up. We still have the picture on the Raw Football Talk, the Instagram page. If you just scroll down, because it's like a couple years back, a year and a half back. But and Mido's my brother, man. He's a fellow United fan. Got 3 United fans in the building.
Yes, sir.
We've been going through it, the ups and the downs, but you know, United forever.
I gotta get back on following Man U again. I don't know if we finished second place, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second air quotes.
Second air quotes. So I don't know what our chances are like.
Don't let that fool you, bro. The season was horrible. Don't let that fool you.
I know, like, what Man City? That finished like the margin. Like, I know they pulled it away. I don't know what Pep Guardiola is feeding their players, or I don't know what his secret is. But I don't know. What would you guys say? Because I know you guys really follow. What's like what would you say like our weaknesses, and what's something that we have to improve on in order to have a better chance winning?
I mean, right off the bat, Mido will tell you, but the coach is a major issue. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's a club legend, but it just hasn't been working out.
Yeah,
right. Like, things have been progressing on like the personal level. He knows how to motivate the players, but United are a club based on success, like a lot of trophies over the years, and now it's kind of the regrouping process has taken too long, I would say. The board, the Glazers actually they own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the way they run their business with United it's like exploitation at the end of the day. So that's the biggest issue, I would say.
Yo, Rick, don't be political, bro. They use all their money on Tom Brady, and they don't want to give us any money, bro. It's all good.
Exploitation.
Or they don't want to spend money in the right way for us. I'll just say that, because they have money, but they don't spend it in the right way. But that's a different conversation.
A different topic. Yeah, man. I feel like Sir Alex Ferguson, man, he just set the standard, bro. He was the manager when he came into Man U, because before him, I guess they still had some success, right, before Sir Alex Ferguson, or was it really Sir Alex Ferguson that really just?
I think when he signed, the club was they were like 11th, like the season before.
Okay.
And then he got them to top 4 in his first season, if I'm not mistaken. And then the second season, I think the managers told him that the upper management told him he needs to win the league if he wants to stay as a coach. I remember my uncle was telling me this story, and then there's a defender called Steve. Yeah, sports stories with my uncle back then. But and then Steve Bruce, who was he was recently the Newcastle manager. He was a player for Sir Alex. He was a defender, and he scored like a header to win the Premier League on the last day of the season. And like, I remember
God. So it was literally one of those moments, like, bro, I don't want to bring back the raw bad memories, but the season when Man City, when Sergio
Aguero, oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God.
That was
I missed that game. So I don't have.
I was watching. I think they had the game. No, I think Man U's game ended early, and I think they were showing Man City's game. And before, before the 90th minute, it was Man City. They were down, and I remember Dzeko. I think he had a goal in the 90th, or it was close to the 90th, and then after stoppage time, Aguero came out in the clutch. I was like, bruh. They really just ended on the last game, like when it mattered. They needed
last kick, pretty much. Yeah,
the last kick. I felt like it was the
my God.
last play of the game. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it's funny you. It's funny you mentioned that because when I saw that, my first instinct was I was mad, bro. I was heated. But then when I like think about it, when I thought about it then, and I look back at it now, I'm like, bro, like, those are moments that we live for as fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a good way to put it. I mean, especially just someone who's like a neutral, I know, football fan. I know they would just, those are the type of things you type on YouTube, like, biggest like goal score. Like that's literally that would be one of the
You
top.
just watch it on a casual day.
And we saw it live. Like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing being able to watch it and look back. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the Sir Alex thing. So yeah, Steve Bruce, who was his player back then, he scored the header. And I remember my uncle was telling me, yo, this is the guy who saved Kirby's ass as the coach. And ever since then, they were able to build and build and build. He was very like he had like his own way of doing things. He wasn't really like a coach with tactics. Like, he wasn't the X and O's guy. He was really like a good man manager.
Right.
Like he knew how to get average players and make them look like, world class players.
Yeah.
So
that's an amazing talent.
Yeah, when I see that jersey that Kirubel is wearing right now, I think of Anderson winning the Champions League. Yeah, like
Anderson.
Think
about, like, you know who I have to have though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, is it Ronaldo?
I mean,
now Mido got the biggest smile in the world,
and I gotta get the gold patch too. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know. You know what I'm saying?
You see that, and the funny thing is, Ronaldo. Like, as much as I love him, I know he's not the same as he was. Like, nowhere near he was when he was at his peak. But bro, kids nowadays will not remember that Ronaldo, the jersey you're wearing.
Bro, that's why I'm like, I mean, and this was the time when we were the best in Europe or in the world.
Yes.
Like, that's why, like, I was really like, I want to hang it like in my room, like, but it's like sometimes I want to too. It's like I already feel some of Cristiano's like athleticism is just helping me become a real Habesha athlete. I'm like, yo, he's gonna inspire me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, wait. Let's real quick. If you guys, do y'all have? We can go around. What is y'all like most memorable? What's like your favorite memory of Manchester United? Like, if you had
a lot, bro. If I had to pick one.
Sheesh, you put me on the spot, bro.
Right.
Like Mido said, I got a lot. I'll let Mido take it.
I'll give you top 3.
Okay.
All right. So Champions League in 2008 has to be up there. I was 9 years old back then. And I was watching it. I remember watching it.
I was 9th grade, I think.
Yeah. Number 2. Not a lot of people mention this a lot, but number 2, I would say, you'll be surprised, Vic. You remember the Tottenham game? The season
when we were down 2-0?
2-0, came back 5-3.
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember that.
And Ronaldo scored that header, that bounced
off the diving header. I remember. I turned off my TV. I was blown. When I saw 2-0, I was like, yeah. I remember turned off my TV.
I remember because that was like a few games where, I don't know if you remember Federico Makeda. He was coming through as well. He was going crazy around that time.
Yeah, he had that one stoppage, that one game-winning goal.
I watch highlights of that game like to this day.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I would say. By the way, I may be putting some stuff in there which I don't like, which I forget about. But off the top of my head, the Man City game where Michael Owen scored.
Oh, when he scored,
that's a good one.
That final, when it was like, what was the final score? It was 4-3. A high-scoring
4-3.
4-3. Yeah, Michael Owen came out of it.
Darren Fletcher scored 2 goals. Something he never did again. But standard players like that do stuff like that, and then the way it ended was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. I guess for me, my mind always goes back to that 2008 Champions League final. I know I put out a piece. Mido has read it. But my brother and I, we were just watching it together. We were coming from school. And it's sort of like an anomaly because both our teams are in the Champions League final. He's a Chelsea supporter.
Ooh,
And I just remember, man, one
damn.
thing I remember was just kind of like, as a kid, you feel like excited, you feel, a bit anxious, I would say, because it's a final. And you see your team to do well. And then it gets to a point where we're in penalties. It's a penalty shootout. And really, I mean, John Terry had one job, essentially. If he puts the penalty away, Chelsea win their first ever Champions League in their history, and then it's curtains. But he
that was
missed.
karma for every bad thing he did in his career after that. But
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like I just remember watching that and thinking like, man, he's gonna if he puts this away, like it's done. But then he slipped, and then that's when I thought like, hey, maybe this could happen for us. And essentially, it just got to the point where Anelka stepped up, and Van der Sar saved it. And then what I just remember was seeing the emotions. We talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, just seeing he wore his heart on his sleeve essentially because he had coming off a season where he scored his 42nd goal.
Yeah.
And gave us the lead, and then Chelsea clawed it back, and then all the extra time, like the drama going on with Tevez and Drogba fighting together, and the red card. And then it's funny because it's like cruel irony. He was the one who missed the spot kick, or Petr Cech saved it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, out of all the players, like this, he's our MVP. How is Ronaldo the one that's?
I'm not gonna lie. That for me, it's sort of. I'm not gonna say like I was still ecstatic when we won, but when out of all the people, when Cristiano missed his penalty kick, it kind of like had a little deter when from just the celebration. I know, like I wish like my favorite player, I wish he made his penalty so he had like a so quote unquote perfect. Not he didn't have a perfect game, but just to make sure like because now that I know like going back seeing him like how he had his PK and he missed it, it like almost kind of messed his just like his not his record, but just like how you would judge how
we could have lost. We could have lost that game because of
that. And now
like Terry cried, man, which was great.
Yeah, dog. It was. Someone was telling me that there was like a stat. Like I don't know how accurate this is, but one of my friends was telling me because, and Chelsea falls in one of those stats and back in 2008. But every team who enters the Champions League final as their first appearance, they end up losing. Like they said, like I think out of I don't know how many appearances or how many teams, like the last like 9 or 10. I feel like they said something like only one of them.
I think Chelsea was I think Chelsea won on their. Oh no, that was their second. My bad.
Second, yeah.
So like I don't know where it's like such a specific stat, but I'm sure maybe if you Google it. But it was something like that where they haven't teams that go to the Champions League finals for their first time, they end up losing.
That's essentially the same thing they were trying to say about Man City, like last Saturday when Chelsea ended up winning the Champions League again. But I'm not buying to that. But you mentioned for our,
I was about to say I knew they were losing before the game started. So
Mido called it a long time ago. Gotta give him his flowers on that. But you mentioned or you asked us for our favorite United moments. What was yours?
Oh, for me, man. Okay, obviously the Champions League finals dub. Because that was literally the first time my favorite team ever won like at the biggest stage. Like because it was either the Niners and Manchester United. Those are like my all two favorite teams, and I never got to watch them win their championship game until the 2008. So that I remember, I felt like I wouldn't even be surprised if I was crying when we won that game. That was so emotional for me. I was so happy when we won it. I mean, yeah, we got Premier League, but I know Champions League is the highest. You would say that's like the highest. That's the equivalent to like the Super Bowl in football, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then honestly, I would also say the next thing that popped into my head was when this was the following year when we went up against Arsenal when Cristiano made that free kick, bro. And then that was probably I was like, bruh. What? And then the one he had against
the second goal. But you mentioned the free kick against Arsenal. Did you see when he was sprinting back?
The counter attack. Yeah, that one was amazing too, bro. But yeah, there's just something when I watch Cristiano, his signature free kick stance. Like when I see him and he scored in that big of a stage too. That was probably like one of my favorite. moments.
Yeah.
I would have to say as a main.
Yeah. And United wear that's essentially the shirt, but United were wearing the blue and yellow jersey, right? When
Yeah,
we played Arsenal that
against
game, I
Arsenal, they
remember.
had the blue. They were wearing their alternate kits. Yeah, the blue ones.
Yeah, shout out Jason Park too. I know he's a big game bully because
Oh
Sir
yeah,
Alex said in the big games I'm gonna start you and you're gonna lock
yeah.
up
He
whoever's
always
Three
like
the
lungs.
best
had
players
him
from the other
start.
team.
Yeah, he had him start against Barca, right? I think.
But that
Yeah,
was a mistake. That one was a mistake.
which year are we talking about though? The 2011 final?
2011
Yeah.
final, bro. That was, but like, yeah, Jason Park, they called him Mr. Three Lungs
I
for a
don't.
reason.
Ji-sung Park played in the 2011. That was the one we
Yeah.
played. Oh, okay. And then I was also thinking the 2009 one, right? Did he play that one? That's when we still had Carlos Tevez and Dimitar Berbatov, Ronaldo, of course. I don't know. I don't know.
I remember the lineup for that game, but I remember the 2011 lineup. We had Nani on one side, we had Park on the other, and Park was just running around like for no reason, man. I remember, shit, I was mad that game.
Yeah, I think so. Alex said if you brought him on at a halftime instead of starting him, we could have won the final. I read something like that, but we move. You know what I mean? We move. And so real quickly, bro, before we wrap up, I got a couple of quick fire questions for you, and I'm not gonna let you breathe, bro. You're gonna have to say it off the top of your head.
I'll try my best, man.
All right, perfect. So quick fire questions. Who's your favorite footballer of all time? And this is a tricky one because it can be American football or world football. Favorite footballer of all time.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with my honest because American football was the first sport that I loved, and it was Terrell Owens from the 49ers. I remember this sort of experience, man. I have a special feeling or a special place in my heart.
Hey, real quick before the next quick fire challenge.
Yeah.
Where is he in the GOAT thing? 1, 2, or 3? Terrell Owens.
Oh, best wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have to put I have to put Jerry Rice, and then I think I would put Randy Moss right before him, and then I'd have because for the longest time, like I was being so biased because I was like, nah, Tio, man, he has to be number 2. But knowing Randy Moss and like what he had in his raw gift, like you could see, like he almost was like kind of like Lionel Messi, where he just had the gift where he was tall, he was fast, he knew how to, he
run routes and everything. Yeah.
He just, no one knew how to stop him. Like that's when people had to start double teaming.
Okay.
2 safety up top. Like he changed the game. He literally added the vocab. You got mossed. His stats, like he just knowing based on his raw talent, I would have to say he and also his statistics too. Like he was also in the top.
I was just asking. I didn't mean to take off from the quick fire challenge.
Yeah, because I will go on. So, but
yeah. Go ahead, Vic.
Okay, so second one, dream football stadium to play or train at.
Okay, I haven't really. Is there a stadium? It definitely would have to be in soccer because I know they always have like the biggest stadiums. I actually got to visit Wembley Stadium when I went to London, and that stadium was beautiful. That was a beautiful stadium. I think that's the first thing that pops in the top of my head. A full attendance at Wembley. I would say that. I know I'm pretty sure there's better answers though, but that's the first thing that pops into my head.
Now, Wembley is a legendary stadium, so I feel you on that one. The third one, second to last, favorite 49ers moment.
Ooh, yeah, damn. I'd probably have to say when this was it was probably in 2011 when we were playing against the Saints in the divisional round. So it was one of those clutch moments where it was less than, I don't know how much time it was, like less than 30 seconds. I mean, we were already in the red zone. We could have easily kicked a field goal if we wanted to take it to overtime, but we went up and decided to go for the touchdown. We threw it Alex Smith to Vernon Davis, also a man from Maryland, College Park, and I actually ran into him too. He actually came to my barber one year. This was actually the same year where we ended up losing in the next round in the conference championship against the Giants. And I saw Vernon Davis. But yeah, when he got that game-winning touchdown, that was probably one of my favorite moments. Yeah. And then I remember I saw Vernon Davis. I think I have a picture with him on my Facebook. And I remember going up to him. I was like, bro, man, you killed it, dog. You were holding the team, man. You had him on your back. And it was unfortunate how you guys ended up not taking it to the Super Bowl. But that was when Eli Manning went ahead and got his second Super Bowl ring. So kudos to him, because I know a lot of people talk a lot of trash, about his tenure, but he's got two Super Bowl rings on his belt. So he comes up clutch when he needs to, the right place at the right time. But yeah, no, that's my moment of in 2011 divisional round game-winning touchdown at Vernon Davis against the Saints.
That's awesome, bro. And then lastly, this one is a little deep. You might have to think a little bit for that, but still, okay. Quick fire on the spot.
Sure.
If you could describe your journey in one word, what would it be?
One word, yeah. One word. That is tough. I feel like my answer may change too in the future, but if I have to say one word, the first thing that pops into my head is consistency. It doesn't have to be in my fitness, just my social setting, just my professional setting, my being family oriented setting. It doesn't matter. I would just say consistency. I try not to change who I am. Just try to be who I am and just be consistent with that. Consistency. Yeah, I would say that's the word.
That's awesome. You got to stay consistent with whatever you do. And like we said earlier at the start of the show, #StayHumble. We got to get a trend.
Stay humble. #StayHumble.
But yeah, bro, we appreciate you coming in. How can people keep up with your work?
I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, I got the Instagram account, Habesha Athletes. Go ahead and follow. I wish I added it into my name. I should have put that in. But yeah, I would just say that's pretty much my fitness page. And I got my personal page too. ITS_Kirbs, KIRBS. They can follow me there too. And yeah, hit a follow if y'all like to. I'm not forcing you, but if you'd like to, go ahead.
Once again, humble brag. You know what I mean? Humble brag. Emphasis on humble.
Time, man. My first ever podcast, and no, this was fun. I'm digging it. I like it. I like what y'all doing, man. Keep it up, bro. Y'all doing some good work, and then y'all gonna go where y'all gonna go places.
Appreciate you, bro. And like you said, it's that one slogan that I think we all live by. But besides, running this marathon, like we know for sure, but inspire until we expire. You know what I mean? We're here for a reason. We know our purpose. We know our why. And like you said, consistency, you put effort, and then you execute. So appreciate you, my guy, once again for hopping on. Appreciate you, Mido, for making time. Hope you enjoy your stay.
Actually, if I can, right before we bounce, I wanted to say this one real quick quote, because this is something that I try to live by, and I'm gonna read it out to you. I want to see what you guys think.
Okay.
Here it is. I say, for those who are fortunate enough to have reached and can maintain mental and emotional fulfillment, it unlocks on what could be the single most important responsibility in humanity is to spread positivity by impacting others with positive intentions without expecting anything in return.
Anything in return.
That's what I want to say.
Love that quote. Yeah. Just doing it, like you said earlier in the show, the decency, when you're talking about, like, you're not in it for like the monetary reasons or whatsoever. Yeah, I kind of like that too, so I love it.
Yeah, for anything that you have a passion for, because I know everyone's going to have their different passions in any avenue, whether it's fitness or, like health or, education, just teaching. People who really are into finances that really want to teach someone how to be financially, doesn't matter, whatever your passion is, as long as you have a positive intention on wanting to impact and help others. I just say, like, if you're in that right position where you don't need anything, you shouldn't expect anything in return. Just if you're in that position, I feel like that's how I try to live by. I try not to worry, and just if they want to hear what they want me to say, I'm all here. I'm all here for y'all. I'm all here for anyone who wants it. But that's it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
100%.
I appreciate this though, for real. But yeah, y'all can go ahead and close. Do you guys have a cool way on closing? Go ahead and do y'all.
I mean, hey, I tried to maybe, find a one-liner out there or try to find something from the show. Always got to be like a active listener and then put it out at the end. But this is our first time that someone mentioned a quote at the end of our show. So I think this has been the best closure, like you mentioned. And like you said, bro, it's doing something out of the goodness of your heart and not expecting anything in return. That's when it becomes so much fulfilling. And yeah, bro, lost for words. That's an awesome quote to end off the show. And so, like I said, thank you for hopping on the show. Keep doing your thing. Well, we're rooting for you. And we know you're gonna do big things. And like I mentioned earlier too, Mido, I appreciate you for making time. Hope you enjoy your stay, and hope you guys have a blessed weekend ahead. And so, thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been episode 14. I hope it's 14. I got a Washington football team jersey over there that says number 14. So that's what reminded me of it. But this has been episode 14 Raw Football Talk, Sports Stories with Big. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And make sure you keep up with us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. And it's been a great episode. So hope you guys enjoyed, and hashtag stay humble.
Yes, sir. Stay humble. All right. Peace, y'all.